Hey, this is Melody, your East Tennessee real estate resource. And today I've been out running errands here in West Knoxville and came across this wonderful little backdrop here, literally in the middle of a business complex. And I thought, man, what a great backdrop to shoot a video. And what I would like to talk about today, especially if you are not living in East Tennessee, or maybe you bought a house a long time ago. And what I mean by that is more than 5 years ago. There might be a term in real estate that you're not familiar with, and it's called good faith. Now, you might say, well, why do I need to know about this? Well, in the offer form, which we call the purchase and sale agreement, there is a term that says good faith. So before you put an offer in on a property, or before you accept an offer on a property, you need to understand what good faith means. Stick around, I'm going to talk about it. So in Tennessee real estate contracts, good faith means honest, timely, and fair communication. Honest, timely, and fair communication. It is about making a sincere effort to meet the terms of the agreement, especially in the resolution period. So let's review for just a moment. So in the Tennessee Purchase and Sale Agreement, there are some paragraphs. The first one is about the inspection period. You have to put, based on talking with your agent, about how many days you would like to get all of the inspections that you want on the property scheduled and completed by. Then, once that inspection period is over, you have some options. You can choose to accept the house as is. You could say, okay, no, there's too many things that I found on the inspection. Because I'm in my inspection contingency, I'm going to terminate the agreement. Or you can supply a list of things that you would like to negotiate with the seller. If you're a seller, this is a list of things that the buyer would like to negotiate with you. And once that list is submitted to the seller, then we go into what is called a resolution period. Now, if you are purchasing or selling a home as is, there may not be a resolution period in your contract. That might be something that you have already discussed in the special stipulations or something like that. But I'm talking about on a typical purchase and sale agreement, after the inspection period, there is this what is called a resolution period. And if you have followed me for some time, you have heard me talk about this in previous videos. So during the resolution period, again, this is after all the inspections have been done on a property. And this is where you're giving a written list of things that you would either like the seller to repair or replace. That's literally the verbiage it says on the proposal, repair or replace. And so you're giving this usually along with specific pictures and verbiage from the actual home inspector, termite inspector, radon inspector, septic inspector, whatever the inspector says that you're asking for resolution on. For example, during the resolution period of an inspection, so this is after the inspections have been done, both buyer and seller must show up to negotiate. So in other words, if I'm representing a buyer and I give a list to the listing agent saying, hey, there's these 3 or 5 things that we're asking the seller to either repair or replace. The seller, by accepting our contract, our purchase and sale agreement, has basically implied that they're willing to negotiate with us on things that are found. That's what this time is, the resolution period. Both buyer and seller must also be willing to respond to proposals. The proposal is basically the name of the form. It's called a repair replace proposal. It's going to have that list of items that the buyer is asking the seller to negotiate on, to repair it or to replace it. And both buyer and seller must work toward a solution rather than ignoring the request or stalling for time. Now, granted, friends, there are times I have been there. We've had a resolution period maybe for 5 days. And that does include the weekends sometimes. And if it's a specialized problem, we might have to have a specialist in there. And so we might have to say, hey, Mr. Seller, we need a couple more days because this is a specialist that we're going to have to get in, and his or her schedule's extremely busy. And so can we have 2 more days to try to get them in there? Sometimes that does happen, but when you're consistently doing it over and over, it kind of shows that, hey, I don't really want to deal with it. That is not part of acting in good faith. In 2025, in the Tennessee Purchase and Sale Agreement, it states this: the parties agree to negotiate repairs in good faith during the resolution period. This is right now the only form in Tennessee documents that say in good faith. It's on that purchase and sale agreement, also known as the offer form. When you're a buyer and your agent is writing up your offer, this is the form that you're talking about. If you're a seller and you receive an offer, this is the form we're talking about. So what exactly does good faith mean to buyers and to sellers? Okay, because again, it involves both parties. For buyers, it means that you must submit your request in a timely manner. And what I always tell my clients is we either need to do it on the day before the end of the inspection period or the day the inspection period ends. We need to have that ready to hand over to the listing agent so they can give it to the seller. Buyers, also, it's important that if the seller comes back and gives you a repair replace proposal, they're saying, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this, but I'm not going to do this and this. They're wanting you to respond to that proposal. Now, of course, you might need some time to think on it, but you can't take a whole lot of time. You've got to consider, okay, this is what I've asked them to do. This is what they're coming back to me. Can I deal with this? Can I not? Respond promptly to any proposals that the seller gives back to you. Buyers, also avoid adding any unrelated demands late in the process that could possibly delay or disrupt closing, okay? That's why it's very important when your agent is writing up your offer, you are talking about it. You want to make sure you're understanding everything that's going into that offer form. And sellers, you're making sure that you understand everything the buyer is asking for up front until the inspection period is done. Sellers, what does this mean for you? Well, this also means you need to respond to these requests promptly. When your agent gives you that repair replace proposal and you guys go over it, you need to be prepared to respond. If not the same day, then early the next day. Make sure that you, seller, are also aware of that resolution time frame. I know for me, I have a digital and a printout version of all the timelines from the contract that I give or email to my clients so they know when that resolution period is over, when they can expect the negotiations on repairs to end. Sellers, it's also important for you to avoid ignoring proposals or refusing to communicate until the deadline ends. It's so important in real estate. There's this other phrase that I made a video over about called time is of the essence. That's so important in real estate. And so it also applies here with the resolution period. So let's do an example of good faith. The buyer submits a repair request proposal with parts of the inspection report on day 2 of the resolution period. Seller responds within 48 hours with either agreement to the repairs or with an updated proposal. Both sides discuss alternatives. Are there going to be the repairs made? If so, by whom? Or if so, what documentation can be provided? Or does the seller just want to offer a credit at closing so that the buyer can get those repairs fixed? Which again can sometimes work, sometimes not, especially when there's an appraisal involved. Now, some myths. Good faith means that the seller has to do whatever is requested. No, it just means that they need to respond and negotiate sincerely. The agreement is not guaranteed. Another myth, earnest money is just a penalty. It is often called a good faith deposit. Sometimes I've heard people say even trust money. It's to show the intent to perform on the contract, but its release depends on the contract and the contingencies. So I hope today that I've taught you something about good faith. It is so important to understand the words of contracts. And if that is something that I can help you with, if you're looking to buy or sell here in East Tennessee, I would be so honored. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Melody Moves Tennessee. I try to put a video out each and every week to help educate buyers and sellers who are looking to make a change or go on a real estate journey. And if you're one of my faithful subscribers, thank you so much. Make sure you like, comment on this video. Let me know what your definition of good faith is. And make sure you share this video with others on your social media. Until next time.